Hi guys, this week we're going to learn another important concept that we need in order to be able to write the equation of a linear relationship. Last week we learned that slope is the steepness of a line. It is represented by the variable m, and we can find the slope by counting the rise and dividing it by the run. Remember that the rise is the movement up or down, and the run is the movement right or left. That slope is the steepness of the line, and it is one important part of an equation for a line. The other important part that you're going to need to know in order to write the equation of a linear relationship is called the Y-intercept. And the word intercept kind of sounds to me like intersect. So I want you to think of it this way. The Y-intercept is really just the point where the line crosses or intersects the y-axis. So if we look on slide 2, it says the y-intercept is the point. Remember, we write the ordered pair of a point, x comma y, where the graph of a linear equation crosses the y-axis. That's the y-intercept. This point represents the starting point or the initial value of the relationship. So remember a couple weeks ago when Leanne got $5 for the walkathon before she even started walking or running, whatever she was doing? That was the y-intercept. Her graph started at 5 because she got that $5 to start with, and then she got more money the more laps that she walked. If you remember, Alana, I believe it was, got $10 no matter how far she walked. So her graph started at 0, 10, and then stayed at 10 the entire time. Those starting points are the y-intercept. All right, so you can think of it as the point where the graph crosses the y-axis. You can also think of it as the point where x equals 0. So whenever x is 0, what is y? That's the y-intercept. It is also the number that we're going to be adding into our equations later this week. We're going to use the variable b for the y-intercept. Again, don't ask me why we use b, but that's just what we use. So m is the slope and b is the y-intercept. Here I have a couple of examples for you. In the first one, you can see that my graph crosses the y-axis right here at this point. This point is 0, 1, so we say b equals 1 because it crosses the y-axis at 0, 1. In my second example, this graph crosses the y-axis at 3. So 0, 3 is the point of my y-intercept, and we write b equals 3 because that's where it crosses the y-axis. And then in my last example, this graph crosses the y-axis at 0, 2. So we say b equals 2. So all you're going to do today is on slide 3, you are going to match each graph with its y-intercept. Remember, it's the point where it crosses the y-axis, not the x-axis. That's something called the x-intercept, and you're not going to learn about that really until next year. So the y-intercept is where the graph crosses the y-axis. So you're going to go through, look at each example carefully, and then you can actually pick these up and move them and just drag it near the graph that matches the y-intercept. That's all you're going to do today. Let me know if you have any questions or if you need to meet, and we'll move on from there. Thanks.